Bluesy with MusicMaestroInc.com. In the last lesson, we learned to memorize note names on just part of the 6th and 5th strings. In this lesson, we're going to go ahead and memorize the entire 6th and 5th strings from the 1st fret to the 12th fret. And just by learning these two strings, you'll be able to identify every note on the entire fretboard through octaves. We're going to go ahead and go over a few of the things that we learned in the previous lesson, and that's mainly to concentrate on the 7 natural tones from A to G. And I'll go ahead and show you again how to identify and name the sharps and flats. But like I said before, don't worry about them, they'll eventually fall into place. Just concentrate on the 7 natural tones. Okay, let's begin. Okay, there are 12 notes or tones in the chromatic scale, which sounds like a scary word, but it's basically just 12 notes in a row. So we're using a standard E tuning. So the 6th string open is going to be an E. So if we just count 12 notes in a row, and then we end up 12th fret, that's another E, 1 octave higher. So those 12 notes in a row starting with E would be the chromatic scale in the key of E. Now out of these 12 tones, 7 of them are called naturals and have single letter names. The other 5 are sharps and flats and they have 2 letter names. The most important thing to remember is that these 7 natural tones have a sharp and flat in between them, except where B and C is and E and F. Those notes are right next to each other. If we play a note, skip a note or a fret and play the one that follows, that's a whole step interval. So most of them are going to have a sharp and flat, that's a whole step. Most of them are going to be a whole step interval. If you play a note, play the note right next to it, that's a half step interval. So where B and C is and E and F, those are half step intervals. So let's go ahead and start with that. We're using a standard E tuning. So the 6th string open is going to be an E. E and F are right next to each other, so the 1st fret is going to be an F. We're going to skip a fret and go to the 3rd fret, this is G. We're going to skip another fret and go to the 5th fret, this is A. And we're going to skip another fret and go to the 7th fret, this is B. So we know B and C are next to each other, so the 8th fret is C. And then we skip a fret and go to the 10th fret, this is D. And then the 12th fret is E. 1 octave higher. So let's do that again. Open 6th string is E, 1st fret is F, 3rd fret is G, 5th fret is A, 7th fret is B, 8th fret is C, 10th fret is D, and the 12th fret is E. So let me go ahead and mention acronyms. A lot of people as beginners use acronyms to remember string names, the open strings. So if you take the first letter of each word, and that's telling you what the letter name of each string is. So starting from the bottom, the 1st string, I learned every bad girl does as Eve. Every E, bad B. On the 2nd string, 3rd string, every bad girl, G, does, 4th string, as, 5th string, and 6th string back to E, Eve. So every bad girl does as Eve. And I've also heard Easter bunny gets drunk after Easter. You know, whichever one works, you can make your own up, but that's basically a good way to tell what the open string names are. So we know that 5th string open is A. So let's go ahead and start with that. Beginning of the alphabet. So 5th string open is A. We're going to skip a fret and go to the 2nd fret. This is B. We know B and C are next to each other, so the 3rd fret is C. We're going to skip a fret and go to the 5th fret. This is D. We're going to skip another fret and go to the 7th fret. This is E. We know E and F are next to each other, so the 8th fret is going to be F. We're going to skip a fret and go to the 10th fret. This is G. And then we're going to go to the 12th fret, back to the beginning, A. So let's go ahead. That's an A, 1 octave higher. So let's do that again. 5th string open is A. 2nd fret is B, 3rd fret is C, 5th fret is D, 7th fret is E, 8th fret is F, 10th fret is G, and 12th fret is A. So as long as you can memorize these two top strings, the 5th and 6th strings, you'll be able to basically know every note through octaves. I'll go through that in a second, but let me go ahead and show you real quick how the sharps and flats get their names. If we travel from the top of the neck towards the body, the pitch is getting higher. It's going sharp. So in this direction, we're going sharp. We start at the bottom of the neck and work our way up. The tone is going, the pitch is getting flat. So we're going, it's getting lower, so we're going flat in this direction, sharp in this direction. So let's go ahead and go with the note between G on the 3rd fret and A on the 5th fret. So to go from G to that note, we're going sharp. These sharps and flats too, they're going to acquire names from both tones, natural tones on each side, because they're related to each one. So from this G to this, we're going sharp, so G sharp would be one of the names for this note. And if we're going from A to that note, we're going flat, so A flat would be the other name. So G sharp, A flat is the name of this note. Now normally these notes are referred to by their sharp names when you're playing major scales, and when you're playing minor and blues, they're referred to by their flat names. Let me show you real quick what octaves are. We already know that this note and this note, same E, 1 octave higher. Let's go ahead and transpose this note to the 5th string. Now I usually go to the note below it and then count over 5 frets. Same E. Now you can do it either way. You can count over 5 from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go below it, whatever works for you. So this is an E. Let's go ahead and transpose it one more time. Go ahead and note below it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are E's, both of them. So just by doing that, you'll be able to tell any note that's on the 4th string just by looking up. So this note here and this note are the same note. So just look at it as looking up at the 6th string, 2 frets flat. So if this is a G, we know this is a G. So if we're wondering what this note is, we know that this is an A and that's an A. So basically you'll be able to tell any note on the 4th string just by using octaves. Same thing works with the 3rd string. So any note, we're using the 5th string now as a guide, so any note we hit there, we know this is a D, so we know that's a D. We know this is a E, so that's an E. So any note, just by using octaves, we can tell what they are on the 3rd string too, just by using the 5th string as a guide. I learned these octaves by learning Jimi Hendrix songs, which to me, I just love doing them. I do them in my own songs. I think the first time I learned was from Purple Haze. So those octaves are pretty cool to be able to help you figure out really what every note. Now let's go ahead and go to the 2nd string. The 2nd string, what I do is I just look at the 5th string again. So if I hit this note, I just go up to the 5th string and then 2 frets sharp. So that note and that note are the same notes. So if I want to know what that is, I know this is an E, so I know that's an E. So if I want to know what that is, on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, I just look up at the 5th string, 5th fret. And I know that's a D, so I know that's a D. And of course, the 1st string, since we learned the 6th string, 1st string, they're both E's, so the exact same notes, E, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. So that's really the easiest way to be able to know every note on the entire fretboard. Like I said about the sharps and flats, don't worry about them. Concentrate on the 7 natural tones. Those sharps and flats will eventually fall into place. And that's it. Well, I hope you learned something new. This is Bluesy at MusicMaestroInc.com. See you in the next lesson. Take care.